Great honor to our Visakhapatnam. Our Visakhapatnam people will be ever grateful for helping.
It's a great honor. Thank you.
So we are happy to invite the world-class university in India.
Thank you very much.
Dr. Lakshmi Prasad.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Chartered accountant.
How are you?
Fine, sir.
See you.
Professor Lakshman Das, Dean of Science College.
Okay. Hi. How are you?
Professor Sheila, the in-charge of Management Institution.
Nice to see you. Your jacket gave it away. Yeah.
The Dean of Nursing.
Nursing. Okay. Hi. How are you?
I'm fine, sir. Giovanna, in-charge of the School of Law.
Okay. Oh, awesome.
Welcome, His Excellency Mr. Richard R. Verma, US Ambassador to India, and also all the dignitaries from US Consulate. Sir, this is presently known as GITAM Institute of the Gandhi Institute of Technology and Management, established in the name of the father of this nation. Right now, we are offering 123 programs in almost all the branches. Coming to the smart city, ever since we heard about the news, we started concentrating on that area, and engineering, pharmacy, medical, in all respects, we have taken up certain initiatives. Now I request our deans of various institutions to briefly put before His Excellency Mr. Richard R. Verma about our capabilities, expertise, and also the initiatives which you have already completed and already which are in progress. Sir, we have documented everything and we kept here in both all our initiatives, our capabilities, our collaborations with foreign universities and about our university in brief, the alumni and their services in US, everything I have documented, including I have also kept in the form of this hard as well as soft form. And now may I request Professor Lakshmi Prasad Garu to initiate the discussion.
Yes, sir.
He is the Dean from, please introduce yourself.
I'm Dean of the Institute of Technology, sir, looking after all the engineering programs. So the faculty and the students of Institute of Technology are involved actually in the smart city activities since inception, basically, almost. And basically the faculty are involved in the 4 areas. One is transportation, basically, then water quality, air quality, and housing, that is green housing, basically, and smart buildings. So on the transportation side, actually we have submitted a vision document on smart transportation plan to Visakhapatnam, basically, city, especially for the city commissioner police. And second thing is we have also developed actually the decision making tools for Visakhapatnam city traffic police division. And we are also involved actually in the improvements that we have suggested for the better utilization of the resources by developing smart databases for Greater Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation. and we have conducted studies on Andhra Pradesh State Road Transport Corporation, government agency basically, which are looking after the road traffic. For them, we have conducted various studies on bus bunching phenomena and how to improve on system efficiency. That we have done it basically. And apart from that, on transportation side, we have conducted various studies for improving the traffic safety and by identifying and mapping on the high-risk locations in the entire Visakhapatnam city. On air quality side, we have developed actually what we call the air pollution, development of air pollution assessment models. And at the same time, apportionment of these air pollution models that we have developed actually already for Visakhapatnam and submitted to Visakhapatnam Port Trust and HPCL different organizations.
We can use your expertise in New Delhi.
Thank you very much. So apart from that, basically, we have actually contributed in smart city stakeholders consultancy meetings, which is organized by the Greater Visakhapatnam Municipal Corporation, and we are party in that basically actively involved, and we are continuously giving our views on all the above four things where we have the expertise. Apart from that, the students of the institute have participated in the survey conducted by GVMC before sending the finalized master plan to the Ministry of Urban Planning, and whatever the priorities that the students have suggested, they have incorporated into that. And finally, our students have participated in the smart city competition conducted by University of California, Berkeley, basically, and won first prize basically. Actually we have developed an app on smart city transportation models. That's very recent basically. And almost every 15 days or 1 week, we are having some programs to create awareness among all the executives, all the administrators here on the activities of the smart city. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your
So I'm Professor Lakshman Das, Dean of Science Programs, and we have both physical science and life sciences. Ever since the concept of smart city has come for Visakhapatnam, our faculty and students have done substantial work as far as the pollution levels in Visakhapatnam are concerned. Visakhapatnam is endowed with many industries also in addition to the natural surroundings. As such, the industrial pollutants, namely the organic pollutants, how to mitigate it, especially the polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. Our scientists have done substantial work in that to mitigate and to give the optimum levels, how it has to be distributed, etc. That is as far as the external pollution is concerned. As far as indoor pollutions are concerned, inside the many dwellings, because of use of many these detergent powders and other day-to-day usables, there is a lot of pollution like benzene, nitric oxide, etc. They are coming. So we have got a very good department which develops the tissue culture, and we have identified certain plants which can absorb these indoor pollutants. So our pollution levels, external pollution as well as indoor pollution, we have taken care of. Another important area which we have
Can I
taken.
just ask you, how are the pollution levels here compared to other parts of India?
Yes, in fact, because
Are they higher, lower? They must be lower here.
They are comparatively.
Yeah.
But because of the typical geographical situation in Visakhapatnam, on one side is the sea and the other side is surrounded by hillocks. So the pollution levels need to be mitigated meticulously to see that the quality of life the concorded health aspects need to be taken. The third one is because of, as you are well aware, that climate change and global warming, we are expecting higher temperatures in Visakhapatnam year after year. So we have developed a system where we can have the roof gardening. So we want to develop some roof gardening, and we have already done some pilot studies on that because of the temperature getting reduced by 1 or 2 degrees. So for that it requires a lot of manure. So we have already developed an app, a public utility app. Our students have developed a public utility app by means of which we know how to mitigate the waste from different areas. We can have some small plants which can produce biogas, and bigger areas we can have also the production of some small electricity also, by means of which the biodegradable waste can be mitigated. The waste can be used as a manure also, and that can be used for the urban, roof gardening. So by means of which we are concentrating mainly on the pollution and how to mitigate the heat content inside the dwellings of Visakhapatnam.
A very good
Integrated
morning.
rural development is also another initiative which we have taken. Yes. Okay, thank you.
This is Dr. Sheila from Institute of Management in charge team. And the faculty and students of the institute have been closely associated with the smart city initiatives, which the government of India has been focusing upon. And a survey was carried out by the faculty in order to understand the perception, the awareness levels and the competencies required by the citizens of the city. And the findings were such that the citizens of Visakhapatnam were quite aware about this concept of city, smart city, and they also have the required competency levels because of the information technology that they are all into. And they are closely associating to be a part of this particular initiative by the concerned authorities to transform the city into a smart city. And likewise, the institute, the faculty at the institute have been preparing a Visakhapatnam development report with a special focus on smart city initiatives. They have been assessing all the socio-economic aspects of the city and identifying the gaps and giving out their required strategies, which will be of handful to the government for further transforming the city into a smart and livable city. Likewise, the students of the institute has been closely associated. It's an annual fest where the students of the institute, they conduct various competitions known as GITAM Excellence Meet. They have invited around 450 students from across the country to explore the students' role in transforming the city into a smart and livable city. These are the initiatives that the institute has been taking forward with the involvement of the faculty, research scholars and the students. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Kumar, sir.
Sir, I'm Professor Kumar, Dean School of International Business. We have addressed two aspects. One is there is a plethora of definitions on a smart city, and we have debated in an after workshop what exactly is meant by a smart city. That's one issue that we have addressed. And secondly, we have conducted, involving faculty and students, a study on aspirations of citizens in the city of Visakhapatnam. Well, when it comes to definition part of it, as I have shared with you while coming to the campus, for us, a city is smart if it can provide for effective and efficient uses of resources, which include human resources, without sacrificing the interest of future generations. Well, there's an extended element to the definition. A smart city should have inbuilt facility and capacity to absorb continually the technology to continue to be smart. This is how we have on the workshop. Well, secondly, our study on aspirations of citizens in Visakhapatnam. Very interestingly, they suggest certain projects to be initiated towards a smart city program.
So often we don't know what it means to have a smart city, right? Because everyone has their own ideas. So it's good to start with what the people actually want and try to build from there. That's helpful. Great.
May I request Mohan sir, please from
Morning, I'm Professor Mohan, Dean of Architecture. Among the three cities identified for smart development, like Visakhapatnam, Ajmer and Allahabad, Visakhapatnam city poses certain unique challenges in terms of smart city development. The unique physical topography of the city makes it very vulnerable to natural calamities. And we have been focusing a lot on this particular issue. Recently we had this cyclone Gudu and the infrastructure roads. And we focused on the type of damages to the vegetation along the entire coast. So in two university campuses, including our campus, then Andhra University, 5 parks in the city, 4 residential neighborhoods, and the entire coastal corridor. We made a complete damage assessment. And finally, we prepared a database of trees which are resistant to damage from salt spray damage, then wind throw damage, defoliation, and various other types of damage. This is a unique type of study done by only, I think, one university, University of Nebraska. They have done some studies in this area. and this helps us in preparing plant selection criteria, which will help us in selecting the right variety of plants so that damage can be minimized from future stock. So we need to factor in the disaster preparedness plan with the smart city development plan. Otherwise, the smart city development will go back by a decade in case there's another storm. So we need to be prepared. This time, Vizag was very well prepared, and only there were 50 deaths. In the past super cyclone, there were 10,000 deaths.
Wow.
So due to the early warning systems and all, we need to have a preparedness plan in place. That should be part of the disaster, smart development.
The task force committee tasked with the state government and GITAM is represented in that to study the parameters that are complete control room here. All this data will be straight away captured here, modeling that model and giving a report to the state authorities and problems, what are the exactly which we are going to fix. The general contribution from the GITAM industry.
In addition to all these things, we have also specialized in research in cancer. Right now, several major research projects are also going on, and the supporting services will mostly take from our Institute of Medical Sciences and Research. Very recently, we have also established there the 850 bedded hospital, biggest in Visakhapatnam alone, is our dean of our medical college. With all the permissions, we have started just last year. And we have also entered MOUs with the local cancer research hospitals to probe further and find out solutions for all these problems. We have a well-structured infrastructure, laboratories
Here, and heard a lot about this university, and I'm also told this is the first time a U.S. ambassador has been to your university, so I'm glad we can start that tradition. But what you've created here and what you've built here is really fabulous. And the work that you're doing on smart cities is going to be so valuable. We hope maybe the most important thing that's needed right now. But all of you are going to bring the ideas, the research, the testing, the data, the analytics that will support what we're trying to do. And ultimately, I think together we're trying to build cities that are safer and healthier and stronger, be able to withstand kinds of challenges. And that's, I think, it's just a good partnership for us. And so we look forward to working with you in the future. And I look forward to telling a lot of people about my visit here, and look forward to meeting your students as well.
So we are extremely grateful to you, sir, for visiting our campus. We are also grateful to all the dignitaries from U.S. Consulate, and in earlier also the Consulate from General and all the people, including sir, has visited our campus, Tetna, Banani and others, so we are grateful. Only two sentences coming to 12 to 15% of our students every year, they prefer to go to United States for higher studies. And also we have a good number of MOUs with several US and Canadian
Madras.
Chennai,
sorry. Yes.
We are in the area of collaborative research, student exchange, and more preferred is also faculty exchange. In these three areas, we are looking forward to the help from American universities.
Great.
Thank you. Thank you. And once again, I express my thanks.
Welcome to His Excellency Richard Awama, U.S. Ambassador to India.
Welcome, sir.
How are you?
I invite the Vice Chancellor of GITAM University, Professor G. Subramaniam, to grace the dais. Now I invite the man with mission, our beloved President of GITAM, Dr. MVVS Murthy, to grace the dais. Now I invite Dr. V.K. Kumar, Dean and Director, GITAM School of International Business, to grace the dais. I request Dr. V.K. Kumar to address the gathering.
His Excellency U.S. Ambassador Richard Verma, Honorable President, GITAM University, Dr. MVVS Murthy, Vice Chancellor, GITAM University, Professor G. Subramaniam, Consul General Michael C. Mullins, Mr. Gabriel Holmes Oliver, Public Affairs Officer, Mr. Peter McSherry, Political Economic Officer from U.S. Consulate, Hyderabad, Mr. Jiba Raisuddin, Economic Growth Chief, U.S. Embassy, New Delhi, Dr. Albert Prasto, Assistant Research Professor, Mechanical Engineering, Carly Mellon University, U.S., Mr. Siba Prasad Tripathi, Political and Economic Specialist, Mr. Salil Kader, Cultural Affairs Advisor, U.S. Consulate, Hyderabad, members of governing body, members of Board of Management, GITAM University, heads of institutions, faculty, and my dear students. A very good morning to all of you. On my own behalf and on behalf of GITAM University, I extend warm welcome to this interactive session with students by His Excellency Ambassador Richard R. Verma. It's my proud privilege to introduce His Excellency Ambassador Richard Verma, who serves as the 25th U.S. Ambassador to India. He was sworn in by Secretary of State John Kerry in December 2014. Ambassador Richard Verma oversees one of the largest U.S. missions in the world, including 4 consulates across India and nearly every agency of the U.S. government. Ambassador Richard Verma was also a senior national security fellow at the Center for American Progress, a Washington, D.C. based think tank. In 2008, he was appointed a commissioner to the Prevention of Weapons of Mass Destruction and Terrorism Commission chaired by Senators Graham and Talent. He is a co-author of their landmark report, World at Risk. The ambassador is a member of the Council on Foreign Relations and served on the boards of the Clinton Foundation, the National Democratic Institute, and Human Rights First. He was also a member of the Secretary of State's Foreign Affairs Policy Board from 2011 through 2014. Ambassador Richard Verma is the recipient of the State Department's Distinguished Service Award, the Council on Foreign Relations International Affairs Fellowship, and was ranked by India abroad as one of the 50 most influential Indian Americans. His military decorations include the Meritorious Service Medal and Air Force Commendation Medal. Ambassador Richard Verma holds degrees like JD from American University's Washington College of Law, LLM from the Georgetown University Law Center, and BS from Lehigh University. May I now request Honorable President, GITAM University, Dr. MVVS Murthy, to felicitate His Excellency Ambassador Richard R. Verma.
Now I request His Excellency Richard R. Verma, U.S. Ambassador to India, to address the students.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Thank you all for being here. It's a big thrill and a big honor for me to be here. I am told I'm the first U.S. ambassador ever to be at your university, so I'm delighted for that to happen. You've all done such amazing things. I understand how competitive it is to be here. You're all incredible students, studying and producing such amazing ideas, and you're really the future of India. I look out in this crowd and I see the future of India and what you're going to produce for this country that will be a global power when you graduate from here. So it's a very exciting time for me to be here. I just want to say a few things. One, I'm just wrapping up the maybe first year and a couple months as being the U.S. ambassador in India. And when I look back on 2015, I can really say that it was one of the strongest, one of the most important years between the U.S. and India. We've never had such a strong year in so many years before. And I look back on why that is. It's because our Prime Minister and our President came together so many times. And they committed to be best partners, to be natural allies, to build on all of the relationships that we have. So, for too many years, we had separate courses. India was on one track, the United States was on another track. But I think our two leaders have told us that those days are over. Our tracks are now coming together. We're coming together on security. We're coming together on economics and trade. We're coming together on clean energy and the environment. We're coming together on science and health and space and so much more. And yes, we're coming together on smart cities as well. So when I look back on last year and just how far we've come in such a short period of time, I really look back on last year and our year ahead as what I've been calling a year of consequence, a year when our relationship has changed, and a year where I see us on a trajectory upwards to higher and stronger and deeper cooperation. Secondly, I want to say on smart cities, we're here in Vizag today with a number of U.S. companies, 20 U.S. companies. We're here with officials from our government to make a commitment, a financing commitment, a commitment to share technology and best practices, engineering, on how to build a smart city, and to make a lasting commitment to all of you that we're going to be part of the solution going forward. We need all of your ideas. We need all of your expertise. When you ask people what is a smart city, they may have different ideas. And just walking into the room here, I saw the different ideas that go into smart cities, from traffic to safety to health, environment. So many things go into making a smart city. We've been through a lot of that in the United States. We've provided expertise to other cities in the world, and we're really excited and honored to be part of this partnership with Vizag and this partnership with all of you at this great university. Third thing I want to say, and then I'm really looking forward to taking your questions, is that first, you may know that my roots are right here in India. My parents are from Punjab. And my dad was the first person in his family to go to college. He was the eldest of 11 kids. My mother and grandmother settled in Punjab after the partition. They were both school teachers. My dad was a school teacher. When I think about what education meant for them in their life, education was what helped them basically have a different future. It is what allows me to be up here standing in front of all of you today. It was only because they worked so hard, got a quality education, had a chance to fulfill their dreams, that they were able to change the whole trajectory of a family. And can you imagine that 50 years later, that their son could come back to the country of their roots as the U.S. ambassador? Now, I can't take credit for that. I can only say that my parents worked really hard, that, again, they relied on education, they were given opportunities, they got a lot of help from a lot of different people, from educational institutions, from social institutions, from governments, from neighbors, from friends. But when I think about the world that they went into, my dad graduated from college. My dad graduated from high school in 1948. He was supposed to graduate from high school in 1947, but they suspended that year because of what was happening in India. So he graduated from high school in 1948 and college in 1951. My mother graduated from college in 1952. It was a very uncertain time. What was the future of India going to be like? What role would India play in the world? If you now fast forward to 2016 and you think about the world that you're going to graduate into, I don't think it's uncertain the role that India is going to play. India has become a global economic power, a global political power, a global military power, a global strategic power. India and the United States together can do great things. You are going to have opportunities that your parents didn't have, that my parents didn't have, and you're coming into a world where people are going to be looking at, counting on India to provide the solutions and the expertise for the challenges that we're all going to face. You are going to be the future leaders, not only of this country, but you're going to have global responsibilities. You're going to have global responsibilities. And I think that's a great, great thing. It's wonderful that you're also going to have a friend and a partner in the United States. I hope you have the opportunity to travel and visit and study and collaborate with your colleagues in the United States. I have a feeling that you will. We have more and more interactions together, not only as governments, but as people more than ever before. There's more Indians in the United States than any other country in the world, and we're really proud of that. So I'm really so grateful to be here. I'm grateful to have had the last year and a half of this surging to new heights in our relationship, and I'm glad that all of you are going to be part of our future together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Now, I request Dr. V.K. Kumar to conduct the session of question and answers.
Good morning, sir. So I'm Shagufta Naz. I'm from GITAM School of International Business. As US government has agreed to support Visakhapatnam, so what are the further steps being taken in making Visakhapatnam a smart city?
So good question was about the smart cities and what we're going to be doing. So we've partnered with 3 cities in India, but I will tell you Vizag, Visakhapatnam is so far along in the process, and we were able to organize this trade mission to bring a couple dozen of our companies here. We've committed to financing a plan, kind of like the plan all of you have done, but we've put money behind a plan for engineering and design as to what goes into a smart city. We're going to present that plan and sign an agreement with the Chief Minister today. So we're here. We're not going anywhere. We're going to be here for the long term, but it's going to be a partnership. We're going to have some challenges. We're going to have to figure out how to do financing, and we're going to have to figure out, of all the priorities between health and traffic and safety and disaster management, what are the priorities that this city wants to focus on? Ultimately, it's going to be up to the people and to the leadership of the city what areas they want to pursue and how they want to work with all of us. But I will tell you, we're here first with some money and a lot of know-how and a lot of heart and a lot of commitment. And hopefully that will expand into a much broader and bigger working partnership in the year ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Morning, sir. Myself, Meenakshi Patharia. I'm from GITAM Institute of Management. And so my question is, what exactly a smart city is in business field?
Sorry, what is a smart city in?
In business field, sir.
In the business field. Okay, so I'm going to find our dean of the business school, and he can answer that question. You know, I think if you were to have 100 people, if we took 100 people right here and we asked them, what is a smart city? I suspect you might get 100 different answers. And I think that's okay. I think that's a good thing. You know, John Chambers, who is our former president of Cisco, our new chair of the U.S.-India Business Council, has said that smart cities basically is using technology and digital. I'm going to turn this off. Okay, using technology and the internet and digital services to improve government efficiency. Others have said, you know, look, it's all about improving the livability and safety. Others have said it's about improving the waste management. Look, it's all of those things. From a business perspective, you know, the engineering solutions, a lot of them have been tried, a lot of them are known. What's really challenging is the business component of this. How do these projects actually get paid for? What's the revenue stream to the companies that come in and do the work? How do you make it affordable for the citizens who are ultimately going to have to pay through taxes or through other government expenditures? So I actually think the business side of it is really critically important, as is the management side of it as well. So you've got your work cut out for you. So and that's why this partnership with this institution is so critical. Thank you.
Good morning, sir. I'm Sneha and I'm from Institute of Technology. Like you said that the smart city, the idea of it keeps evolving over time. But then the European nations that already have a lot of smart cities are taking a little step back because they've realized that they've gone too far with the smart city. So right now in Visakhapatnam, when we're actually implementing smart city, how are we going to implement the learnings that they've understood that going that far is not great? Like the technology implementation.
That's really interesting. So you think you can overdo the smart city? City can get too smart.
So that was not my perception, but then a lot of European cities are going and unsmarting the cities. That's the word that people are using right now.
That's
so
really
how are we going to change that? Like we have to implement it in a global scenario right now. That's the question I was intending to ask.
No. It's a really good question. It's so interesting. I don't think, I'm sure the experts that design smart cities probably have to look at all the learnings from Europe and across Asia as to what makes it too much, going too far. I can imagine a situation where it does go too far. And you can overuse technology, certainly, and you can, you know, sometimes when you take the human interface out of interactions with people, that can become challenging too. And not everyone has a smartphone or an app on their phone. Not everyone is sophisticated or on the internet. Certainly, it took my parents, you know, a good 10 years before they could learn how to go to one website. So I know this can potentially be challenging. I just think we're going to have to learn those lessons and apply them here. Let me just make one point really clear, though, that these are decisions that are going to be taken by your leaders, by all of you, by the citizens that live here. How far, how fast, how smart, are ultimately local decisions, and again, we will support the direction that you want to go.
Thank you so much, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you very much. For want of time,
We're okay. We're okay. Keep going.
Thank you for the opportunity. And my name is Akansha Udanrao, and I'm from GITAM Institute of Management. So I just want your insight on this statement. Involvement of women and children in creating a better environment to achieve our definition of smart city concept. Please give us your insight on this.
So I didn't hear all of it. It was about the importance of women and children in...
Involvement of women and children
Yeah.
in creating a better environment
Yeah.
to achieve our definition of smart city.
Yeah. Great question.
Thank
And
you.
I don't think, I would broaden out what you just said and not have it limited to just smart cities. I think when women are not participating in the workforce, when they're not given an equal chance to fulfill their dreams, the country as a whole suffers. We've seen that throughout history. We've seen that in country after country. And so it's so important that women are given a stake and a chance to get past the 8th grade into high school, into college or graduate school if they want to have equal pay and equal professional opportunities. I don't think that's a smart city requirement. I think that's what women across the world are demanding, and I think that's what we owe through law and justice and through how we work together. I know that's a big part of what President Obama has talked about. I know Prime Minister Modi has talked about that as well. And then children as well, ensuring that children have good health and adequate sanitation. Again, educational opportunities that they're not subjected to victimization either in work or in other spheres. So what you said rings completely true. It is critically important that we continue to stand up for women and children, ensure that they have adequate rights. And again, I think back to my own family experience and the ability of my grandmother and mother to go to college and to actually teach and fulfill their dreams. They were able to do that in the 1940s and 1950s. And so it was really, and I've had incredible role models in my family like that. So you've really hit the nail on the head. Thank you for asking that question.
I am Kiran Yadav, and I am from GITAM Institute of Management. My question to you is policy paralysis and lack of transparency responsible for creating a glitch in the smart city concept?
Wow, yes. I just say yes. Do you say lack of transparency and what was the other one?
Policy paralysis.
Policy paralysis. Yeah, I think when you look at, but again, I don't think that's just applicable to smart cities, and I'll just take the U.S. example. I think it's critical that citizens have a view into what's happening from a decision-making point of view. I think our systems have become really transparent over time, and a municipality or a government that's not responsive and that gets stuck is not as effective for the people. We've had that challenge in Washington, D.C. for quite some time, and it does have an impact. So again, it's not just limited to smart cities, but when I've heard just even this morning about some of the solutions that people have in mind, it's about making local government more effective and more responsive and having greater coordination. That's what we were talking about, using technology. So I think there's a way that you can get the transparency and get past the policy paralysis through these smart city concepts. Why don't we take 2 more questions? Does that work? Yeah? We have?
Good morning, sir.
Yeah.
Good morning, respected dignitaries on and off the dais. I'm Krishna Sharma from GITAM Institute of Technology. My question is, sir, apart from the local government agencies, what role does private firms or stakeholders have in the development of smart city projects?
Yeah, good question. Ultimately, the work that gets done is going to be by private firms almost exclusively. I mean, that's who has the science and engineering and technology expertise. And so they want to come in and be your partners and implementers ultimately. And that's the kind of companies that we've brought with us here today. Private sector firms that do this kind of work. And obviously there are a lot of great companies in India, Europe, across Asia that do this work as well. But they will play a critical role in trying to implement the decision and the plan that's taken here in Vizag. So they're going to be your partners going forward. We have time for one more final question. Anybody?
Good morning, sir.
Oh wow, you're right there. Okay.
My name is Namrata. I'm from GITAM Institute of Pharmacy. So my question is, what are the consequences of the Smart City program on the practice of pharmacy and pharmaceutical industry?
Wow. You tell me, what do you think?
I personally feel that there must be a change in the practice of pharmacy and practicing hospital pharmacy, which would ultimately lead to the reduction of drug abuse. This is what I feel. So I just want to know what are your plans on it?
I think we have to learn from you. And no, really, I think it's so smart. This is a real challenge for us in the United States in particular, especially in rural areas. So if there are some solutions we can bring to bear on that issue in particular, that would be great. And look, what you've just said, you've brought up pharmacy and a very important aspect of, frankly, health and safety and livability. Now, I wouldn't have thought of that, but that's what I mean. We have to bring all the different disciplines and all the different expertise together. We've got such a great opportunity here. I'm really excited about what you have here at your fingertips and the great ideas you're bringing to the table. I think it's going to be terrific. I look forward to coming back and seeing all this being implemented.
Thank you so much.
I think we've run out of time. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Let's give a standing ovation to the ambassador.